It's the Cardinals with Kyler Murray against the Rams, the reigning Super Bowl defending champion. Whose team has more pressure on them, the Cardinals or the Rams?
Well, obviously it's the Cardinals because they're on Hard Knocks. And what Hard Knocks is propaganda to get you to believe in a team and raise your expectations. There was pressure on the Lions coming into this year because coming into this year, Hard Knocks hyped them up. You see players like Rodrigo and Aiden Hutchinson, maybe they can have a competent defense, and that just wasn't true at all. And then the Lions sucked, and they're still a Detroit Lions, and they're still very bad. But now with the Cardinals, they're on Hard Knocks, and people are going to think they're better. There's no pressure on the Rams because the Rams did what they set out to do, and that was win a Super Bowl. They already won their Super Bowl. The Cardinals just signed Kyler Murray to a long-term extension. The Cardinals just signed Cliff Kingsbury to a long-term extension. So to sit up here and say there's more pressure on the Rams than the Cardinals, it's asinine because the Rams won a Super Bowl. It's like saying, is there more pressure on Eminem, who's won Grammys before, or someone like Corday to win a Grammy, an artist coming up? Corday still needs to get his awards. He needs to get his flowers, where Eminem has already got his Grammys. He's already solidified as a winner. Is Corday capable of putting out that one album that can get awards?
Sure. That's an analogy. That's a great that's an analogy.
I did my best.
Thanks, thanks, Colin Cowherd. That's a great one. This is where you're wrong. Because the Rams, they went out, they signed Aaron Donald. They went out, they traded draft capital to get Jalen Ramsey, to get Matt Stafford, to sign Cooper Kupp to a record deal. And then they also sign Bobby Wagner in the offseason. They sign Allen Robinson in the offseason. And they go and try to sign for Brian Burns, 2 first-round picks. They don't get them. For the Rams, they're trying to show that they are still a legit Super Bowl contender. They're 3-5, and they got to get the show moving. Because if they don't get the show moving now, the show's not moving. The show's going out of town, and so are the Rams. So I think the Rams have more pressure in this game, which is why I think they're going to win this game today. Because if there's one thing I've learned after watching these teams face off the last few years, the Rams own the Cardinals. And there's certain things that I need to know. I think that the Rams are going to take care of business. I think they cover the spread, and I have them winning 21-14.
Last year in SoFi, the Cardinals went in, beat the Rams, had their biggest win of the year, where it was like, oh, this is a real team. And then another thing in this game, Jalen Ramsey can bully some guys, but if there's one receiver that's been the heel on his thumb, who he said is the hardest guy to cover, his worst matchup, the least fun guy to go up against, that's DeAndre Hopkins. And I think DeAndre Hopkins going to play a huge part in this game. I think the Rams can't score, and neither can the Cardinals. And I think they're roughly the same team. But I think the Cardinals haven't won a Super Bowl, made the playoffs as an absolute dud. I think they need it more. The Rams can just be like, we won the Super Bowl. I mean, we're hurt. We need to rebuild the offensive line. We can punt it down the road a year or two just because the Super Bowl victory. No one repeats besides Tom Brady. It's like literally one of the only quarterbacks to do it or team. So it's just like, I don't know. Cardinals, it's just like, we have to do it. We have to make the playoffs somehow, some way, somehow. If the Rams don't do it, it's just a disappointing year, but it's like, well, we were the best team last year.